eternity, we're not looking at a disembodied existence according to the pages of the New Testament, but we are looking to a life that is the resurrected life, that we will be embodied, yet the body that we will have will not be quite the same as the body that I now have. Because the body that I now have is subject to corruption.
And he preached the homily, but standing very still, like a statue. But he did preach. Next thing he knew, he was heading for the door. He went over to the offices.
He was gone longer than expected, so I stood up and went after him. We found him at Father Ben's couch, and I asked him, "Are you all right?" And he said, "Oh, Mary Lou," he said, "I feel so dizzy." He's just so dizzy, and then he was sweating like crazy.
There's two major types of strokes. One is when you bleed into your head, and one is when you have a lack of blood in your head. And so in his case, it was a lack of blood. And that means that there's parts of the brain that did not get blood. If they don't get blood, those cells die.
So that Tuesday morning, Bishop Peter called me, and we were talking, and he was saying that he was probably going to be released. And I said that was good. So then I had to go to work. So I hung up from him, and then within about an hour, I got another call, and it was from St. Joseph's Hospital, saying that my husband was going in for surgery.
So in the first few months, it seemed like there was a lot of changes that had to be made. Dad, he wasn't himself. He really wasn't. It was hard to talk to him because he forgot a lot of things. He forgot where he was or who certain people were or what year it was. And a lot of times he would ask him a question about something and he would focus on one thing and he would circle around and around. It was like a broken record.
Just what kind of man was he? What was his life like that he would grow up and that he would choose to become a collaborator with the enemy?
Change. Take the left leg up. Press. That's part of the exercise. Very good. One more time, left leg, and then press the outer ankle in. Nice. Nice.
I knew that the treatments, the IV treatments that Dr. Henderson provides would be helpful for him.
We take care of many patients with strokes here, and we're very comfortable figuring out the stage of the stroke and creating a remedy that optimizes their care. When Bishop Peter came, he had some significant issues internally in the cranium, which means in his brain there were parts of it that weren't working right. He had a lot of what they call vertigo, that's spinning. He had double vision at the time. He had difficulty with strength at the time. And not just gross motor, that's arms and legs, but fine motor, that means fingers and toes. He also had difficulty in terms of his balance, and that was reflected also in his head because it was difficult for him to keep that still. So what we did is we assessed him in terms of what they call a brain map. A brain map determines all 5 brain waves and which ones work and which ones don't work normally. That way we can suggest where the damage is done and what needs to be done to fix it. We wanted him to make sure he can walk the stairs, he can use his hands, and therein lie the blessing of his recovery. He was coming in regularly, he was receiving brain training, he was receiving some intravenous therapies, and those intravenous therapies included regenerative cells, regenerative vesicles, and for sure peptides. And peptides, you may not know, but peptides are proteins. We have them naturally occurring in our bodies, and what they're like a rocket, so they can help heal faster and repair better. His first therapies created a subsequent improvement in Bishop Peter to the degree that he no longer needed walkers and other things, but within months he was able to use his walking stick. And that walking stick gave him mobility that he didn't have before. Then the family decided, and we agreed, that he would benefit from another round of regenerative therapies. After the second round, he improved his vertigo. It decreased, according to him and his family, down to less than 10% of what it started with. And lo and behold, he was able to read. It was very exciting for all of us involved in his care. He not only was able to read, but he was able to comprehend. Here's a man who had learned Greek and Hebrew and many languages, and he still had difficulty reading until this second round. And in the round, it was pretty revealing that he not only could read, but now he could comprehend. And he also stated, and then I saw, he was able to write again. And so he had reading, comprehension, and writing, all of which were pretty exciting to those of us that were involved in his care. We were measuring his reflexes, and we were measuring his motor. We measured his motor principally with a kinetosense, something that looked at the range of motion of all his joints and saw how they were improving. We measured the reflexes and how he responded to various stimuli. And in both instances, he had an excellent response.
The hills are white unto harvest. You better do what you're told or you may end up there. Well, that's where Jesus ended up. But you know something? His enemies thought he was dead. We solved the Jesus problem. He's not a threat to us anymore. But then 3 days later, he came back from the dead, to the surprise of his disciples.
I would say, Bishop Peter's recovery, in my opinion, is nothing short of miraculous. I went to the hospital the day he had his stroke and saw him there, and I've been on the altar with him pretty much every step of the way, and I've seen the progression firsthand, physically and mentally, and he has come so far in such a short time that really it's hard to believe for me.
And there is no question that the prayers, the donations, and other things from those churches have had a material benefit to him and his family. And in my opinion, those should not only continue, the prayers and the support, but they should increase, because think of all the other people in these churches that could be helped with a similar situation. So I would like to thank those that are watching this for the prayers and the support, and I would also encourage them to create it in their ministry so that they could help other people. I think we need to slow down a minute here, because I get a little hyper, and thank Bishop Peter. He is a man that has dedicated himself recently to getting better. And he, like I, have ups and downs, but his purpose has been clear. His absolute benefit to others is renowned, and what he now is doing is helping himself help others. Thank you.
I am filled with deep gratitude, first of all, to God for hearing your prayers, but I'm also thankful to my wife and my son, Matthew, and my other children, Nathan, Andrew, Sarah, and Joseph, for all of the help and support they have given to me and so many wonderful people at the church and so many wonderful friends. If not for this therapy, I may not be making this message and talking to you at this moment. So God bless you and thank you ever so much.